I didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask to have to do taxes. I didn't ask to have to go to school. I didn't ask to do any of the stuff that I have to do. And it's just not fair that, like, I guess it's just not fair that my parents gave birth to me. I guess that's, like, a dumb thing to say. But I didn't ask for any of this. I have no idea how I made it this far. I wanted to drop out of college so many times. So many times. Like, the beginning of freshman year, I didn't think I was going to make it for the first, 2 months. I was a mess. I was, crying every day. I was going to my friends. My friends are, definitely tired of my shit. I don't know. I've had anxiety since, kindergarten. I used to throw up every single day in kindergarten. And I remember my teacher making me, clean up my throw up. I believe that I used to do, such a ridiculous thing. But I would throw up every single day in, kindergarten. I couldn't handle just, the basic transitions of life.
I started going to a private school that is, famous for having a reputation of being full of, very affluent kids. Kids who had so much money, even in 6th grade, that they didn't know what to do with it. And I think that was really tough for me because even back then my parents, not only did we not have a lot of money, but they also had 4 kids. So that was a lot of different ways to split their budget. And I think that made things really tough on me because I was kind of forced into this environment where everybody had everything they wanted and they had all of these tools to succeed. I didn't have any of that, so I had to get by on a public school education and the fact that I'm pretty naturally smart and all of these other kids have these advantages, and it was really hard to keep up, and that put a lot of stress on me even at that age.
What was high school like for you?
In my head, it's so different. It's so different than what reality. I don't know how to describe it. High school is tough. High school is bad. High school is when everything just was put into question. I had no idea that I could have so much stuff to deal with. And I mean, I guess I'd been dealing with all of this stuff, all my problems, all my anxiety, all my life. But in high school, I got a therapist and I was able to realize that I have anxiety, not just not good at putting things into words.
Can you talk a little bit about what you had to deal with in high school? What was the catalyst for everything?
Freshman year of high school, over the summer, I met this girl. I really liked her. I had no idea even what being gay was at that time, really. And she was gay, and then all of a sudden she kissed me, and it all exploded, and I had no idea what was happening. I was so stressed out. My parents are, very conservative, not okay with gay.
A really transitional period for me. Puberty was really tough on me. I'm known for having a really big butt, and that happened in 7th grade, out of nowhere, overnight, and people pointed it out. Weren't making fun of me, but they weren't nice about it, and it was something that girls were very jealous of me, and boys were very it didn't need to be pointed out. It didn't need to be made a thing in 7th grade, but it was made a thing, and that was really hard on me. And from I think end of 7th grade through college and still sometimes now, I had a really bad eating disorder, and I think that this idea of like body perfection, and in middle school, like a lot of girls go through this, but I think this like expectation of what I was supposed to look like and how I was supposed to act, like it like wrecked me. I remember the first time, I think the first time that I ever like made myself throw up, it was the summer before 8th grade, and I wasn't doing well in school, so I had to go to these summer classes. I would go to this deli after school, and I forget what I would eat, but I would always like get something to eat, and then my parents worked during the day, so I would go home to an empty house, and I would make myself throw up, and I think that that helped the stress, and that helped. It's so silly and it's so trite, but like people who have eating disorders try and keep some like grasp of like control over their situations, and I think that was my way of controlling the situation, like being able to put something into my body and then choose to take it out, and having this secret that no one knew about. And I think that that really became a thing in high school. And my soccer season had just ended, so I went from like exercising like 7 days a week to not exercising at all, and I felt disgusting, so I kind of just stopped eating. And that lasted for like maybe 5 or 6 months, and throughout that time I remember seeing pictures of myself, and I remember like people coming up to me and saying like, you look so scary, and I liked that. I liked having people worry about me, and I liked having this like, again, this like sense of control, because I was so stressed out and I felt so overwhelmed by like this situation and this like competitive environment, that to be able to, it just felt good. And that was something that was really hard for me to change, like recognizing that that shouldn't feel good. I think the fact that your parents aren't okay with you being gay, did that make it hard for you to trust them?
Yeah, I still don't trust my parents. If I talk to my mom on the phone, I don't tell her the real things that are happening in my life, like relationship-wise. We talk about pretty superficial things, and yet it still leaves me feeling awful. I don't know. So beginning of sophomore year, I started like cutting myself and just doing really bad stuff. I hurt myself in ways that I literally see scars on my body from every day, which I'm so regretful for. Like, finding out that I was gay was just the worst thing in the entire world.
I think it makes you special.
I know. But when your family doesn't think that the thing that kind of makes you who you are isn't a good thing, then it makes everything so complicated and so difficult. And that was what was good about college, was I could get distance between my parents and actually be who I wanted to be and who I actually am. It would be a lot easier if I wasn't gay. I wish that pretty often. I would say that I'm a pretty homophobic gay person. I mean, obviously, like, it's not my fault, and I would never want a gay person who's happy to be anything that they're not. But, like, I would definitely prefer to be straight. It's just the family that I was born into.
I have this one memory of this guy, and he went to me one day and he was like, are you okay? Like, you don't look good. You don't look like yourself. You don't look happy. And I think that that was something that like really stuck with me, and that was something that like kind of scared me and freaked me out. And I think that that made me realize that I didn't want people to be afraid of me, and I didn't want to be bothered by people.
I think that the hardest part was realizing who I am, or who I was. But realizing and accepting is different. And realizing was the hardest part for me. Accepting wasn't as difficult, but just seeing who I was without the influence of my parents, without the influence of religion.
I started working out more, and I think that working out has definitely like become somewhat of a substitute for like this disordered thought that I have. And it's hard. It's something that I definitely like haven't gotten over, and I think that I owe a lot of thanks to my boyfriend, who can say to me like, if if I say to him, like, fuck, like, I really, like, want to, like, eat this cookie, but, like, I shouldn't eat this, like, this is bad, and he's like, it's not bad, like, you can eat this, like, it's okay. And I think having someone telling me that it's okay, like, really is helpful, and having someone that, like, doesn't care what I look like has helped that a lot. But it's something that, like, every single day I struggle with, and I think that I made a really decisive decision, like, in college, that it was my body or it was my mental health, and I think I chose my mental health.
And it's something that stresses me out about graduating. Like, my parents are expecting me to move home. Graduating and going home would probably destroy me again. It would be another really, really bad part in my life. I was just pretty suicidal. And there's a kind of suicidal where you really want to die and so you do it, and there's a kind of suicidal where you just think about dying every single day but don't actually, like, you know that you're not going to do something about it. You just wish that you could do something about it.
I found out that I have, like, these, like, abnormal cancer cells on my uterus, and that was, like, really hard and really awful for me, because similar to how I felt throughout high school, like, with, like, this eating disorder, I felt like my body was turning against me, and to feel that way again was really hard. But that was something that I, again, really tried to turn into a positive. I think that getting that diagnosis last year was the first sign that I had of my own mortality. I think what hit me so hard about having, not only, like, finding out that, like, I could, like, develop cancer and that I have, like, a predisposition to developing cancer, especially, like, on my uterus, was, like, maybe not being able to have kids. And I think that like, broke my heart, because sometimes, like, that feels like the only thing that I want to live for. I think, like, this realization of mortality made me wonder what the point of my life was, and it made me wonder, like, why do I have to go through all of this stress, and why do I have to feel this way only to die? Like what? Like, I don't need this amount of stress.
I was just pretty suicidal, and there's a kind of suicidal where you really want to die and so you do it, and there's a kind of suicidal where you just think about dying every single day but don't actually, like, you know that you're not going to do something about it. You just wish that you could do something about it. That's where I was at. I thought about dying every single day, but I wasn't going to do it.
What keeps you going?
I'm really excited to have kids, and I'm really excited to, like, spend the rest of my life with someone that I love, and I'm really excited to travel more and see things that I haven't seen before, and I'm so excited to not be in school anymore. I think that will make things better.
I'm so lucky. I have such good friends. I couldn't be luckier with my friends. I'm so glad to have. I know so many people that don't have a good friend group like I do, that don't have best friends, that don't have people that they can text any single moment of the day, that'll text them back and be like, I'll meet you somewhere, I'll meet you anywhere. And I can't imagine what it would be like if I didn't have these people in my life.
Up above I see specks of silver in the evening sky, specks of gold in the river running from the deep moonlight. See a shake in the wild distortion of the water's wave.